What is up, guys? DZ here, and a couple of you were disappointed that I didn't really talk in depth about my Atlantean deck that I took to the UDS. So I thought I would take this deck profile, which is of me taking Atlanteans to the Indianapolis Regional. I thought I would take this one more in depth and kind of talk to you about why I played what I played. A couple of you might have seen either on Facebook from being friends with me or on Zodiac because Alex Simo, who you may know his channel, he posted the picture also, but I ended up wearing a shark costume in the last two rounds, which I thought was like hilarious because I mean it's a water deck and there's a shark on my token, and anyway, I did that. It was pretty funny, but I didn't do amazing. I only went 5-3. I'll talk about my losses after we go through the actual deck profile. But let's just take a look at what I was playing before we talk about the individual rounds. So we were playing 3 Neptibus. That's kind of like your best monster ever. I don't know, like one thing to mention is that he doesn't activate on summon. Like, obviously, if you just took 5 seconds to read it, you would know that, but like, I don't know. And at the UDS Championship, this happened too. But like every single person I play against, like thinks that he activates on summon, but he doesn't. He's not like an Undyne. So you can use some kind of cool stuff with that. But it means like you can summon it and then like not use the effect, and then like use the effect later in the turn. We played 3 heavy infantry. This card's obviously really powerful for popping pendulum skills, as well as popping monsters and OTKing. And the double normal summon effect comes up quite often as well. So I'm playing 3 marksmen. A lot of people only play 2 marksmen. And the reason they're playing 2 is because you don't really pop a lot of back row these days. And that's not like a secret or anything, but these are really hard to see. I didn't really realize that. They're marksmen, I promise. So you're not really popping a lot of back row. But I think you need 3 marksmen because it's kind of like a starter card, because you can just marksman attack and then special summon a Neptibus from your deck, which is pretty cool. So I think you need to play 3. There's a lot of OTKs where you'll like summon a Megalo and then tribute a Neptibus and then bring back a marksman to attack a bunch of times and win the game. And winning the game is pretty important. We're playing 2 Dragoons. Once again, I guess those are kind of hard to see. Maybe the angles is weird. Dragoons is obviously like the nuts, so you gotta play 2 of it. I think you all probably know that. I played 1 Atlantean attack squad. So OCG played this card when Mermails were first big, and now that Atlanteans are big once again, I think they weren't playing it in their standard build, but I wanted to play it here. So attack squad is 1400, and then it goes up by 800 if you control another sea serpent, aqua, or fish, which is basically just like every single monster in the deck. So what kept happening is that like your basic Neptibus combo gets both of the Dragoons out of your deck, because you like summon Neptibus to send Dragoons to add a Dragoons to add a Megalo. So that means if you summon Marksman later and then attack directly, like the only things you have left to special summon from your deck are Neptibus, which is 800 attack, and heavy infantry, which has 0 attack. So like you can't get the damage output that you want. So I wanted to play attack squad to make 1 marksman be able to do 3600 damage. And I really like this card. Also, there was like one time where I like attacked over a dweller with it, which was pretty neat. So I don't regret playing attack squad. I think it was good. Maybe I'll just move them down. Maybe they'll be a little easier to see that way. I don't know. So I don't regret playing attack squad. It was pretty cool. Then we played 3 Megalos, like the only really good Mermail. I played at the UDS like a much bigger Mermail engine with like Teus and stuff, but I really didn't like them. They were usually like the worst card in the hand, so I just went with Megalo this time. Well, so I played 1 Pike as well. But I only drew this card once, and it wasn't like, I guess it was fine the one time I drew it, but I think it's cuttable. But anyway, Megalo is really good. You definitely need 3 of them. So I was playing Undyne as well. This was kind of like instead of the like the bigger Mermail engine. So and I honestly felt this was like better, and I definitely don't regret playing this at all. Like Undyne was amazing. Partly because it activates on normal summons. Like if they had a lot of back row, and I had an Undyne and an Neptibus, I would summon the Undyne, because then like even if they had a back row, it wouldn't matter. Like, okay, so Warning like fucks this deck up. Like I got Warning, like Neptibus got Warning, and like Undyne got Warning. Like that shit is so annoying, because then you don't get to send it for a cost. Like Solemn Strike doesn't really matter, but Warning hurts like a motherfucker. But Undyne was really good. I was playing double summons, as you'll see, just like the YCS Sydney top 82 build. And yeah. And then we played 2 controller. I'm not confident in playing, like, if playing Brilliant Fusion in like every deck has taught me anything, I think you have to play 2 of the normal monster, because I am just way too unlucky. But I opened controller. I didn't really count it, so for some reason, like opening controller didn't really affect me in the same way that opening Garnet does. Usually it didn't matter. There was never a time the entire tournament where I had an Undyne that I couldn't use because of controller being out of the deck. So like, I never drew 2 controllers, so I guess that's good too. But honestly, this engine never came back to like bite me in the ass, so that was cool. And then we played 1 Deep Sea Diva. So Diva is kind of interesting because on one hand, it's one of the most powerful cards in the deck because it allows you to like OTK really easily. On the other hand, it loses to like every single hand trap ever, so it's a lot of times I would search a Neptibus instead of a Diva. So Diva loses to like any back row, like even the stuff that like Neptibus and Undyne wouldn't lose to, because it loses to like Solemn Strike and Solemn Warning, and then it loses to like Effect Failure, and then it gets like shit on my Maxi. Like, it's a great card, don't get me wrong, and it's awesome that it's a tuner. Like you'll see some of the stuff I'm playing in my extra deck, but boy, this card gets veilered a lot, and it's really disappointing. So a lot of times, if I didn't, like, Diva's given you need the tuner, but a lot of times if I didn't need the tuner, I would just search a Neptibus because it was a lot safer. 1 Moulin Glacia, this card is the nuts. I Moulin Glacia'd a lot of people. Let's just leave it at that. Like, Moulin Glacia is really good, and I don't know why you would never play it. I played 2 Aqua Spirit, so one of the things that I noticed at the UDS was a lot of times I would be left with just a Dragoons on board after tributing a Neptibus with Megalo. And I just wanted a way to put like another level, I wanted a way to just make rank 4s more, because outside of Instant Fusion, it was like impossible to make rank 4s, because like you use your normal summon on like a Neptibus or an Undyne, and then you like tribute the Neptibus to put a Dragoons on board, and then like if you don't have Instant Fusion, there's like no way to put another level 4 on board. So like I wanted Aqua Spirit for that reason. I don't think there were any times that I had like 6 waters engraved and then like Aqua Spirit put it down to 5, but Aqua Spirit just in general like was really good. I sided one out a lot of the time because it's kind of like a combo card, but not like integral to the strategy. But I'm happy I played 2. So I played 2 Kaijus again, the Sea Turtle. So this card was all over the regional, like everyone else is playing it. I don't think anyone's maining it. Some of the Burning Abyss builds were maining two copies of 2 different Kaijus, and then one of the spell card that's like a Dark Hole. But I think for the most part, people were just siding these. But so Cosmo is like this deck's worth matchup, and this helps get around that. It also helps get around an Infinity, Rafflesia, Dweller. I know my friend got like fucked by that, where like he ended his board with like against BA with like one of each of the Draco Slayer extra deck monsters. So like Magic Spectre Paladin, Ignister, and then whatever, I guess the other one's Dynaster, and then a Dweller. And like the guy like entered his main phase and was like, "Do you want to activate anything?" And Ricky's like, "No." And then he tributed the Dweller for Sea Turtle, and Ricky kind of got sad. But anyway, this card is really good, and it's like water, so main decking it is fine, because you can always just discard it for Megalo if you really need to. We played 2 Ghost Ogre. Ghost Ogre is probably my favorite hand trap right now. It's incredibly versatile, and just really good all around. And then we played 2 Maxi. We're not playing Veiler anymore, so I noticed that Pepe wasn't my hard matchup. Cosmo was, and like the Veilers were like always dead. It's like I cut them, and like stuff. But Maxi is really good. I would consider playing 3, but for now I just played 2 at the event. We played 3 copies of Instant Fusion. This card is really good. Bringing out Norden to bring back Dragoons is pretty good. I also use this card, like, I think twice to bring a Norden out. So, like, I would summon Neptibus, it would get warninged, and then I would Instant Fusion to bring back the Neptibus to send a Dragoons, which isn't, like, the most fantastic play, but it's, like, better than just passing because your Neptibus got warninged. 2 Twin Twister. This card was really good, too. Just pushing through back row decks like it's nothing. Twin Twisters is just ridiculous. Like, I don't want to play any decks that play back row while Twin Twisters exists, because it's just really fucking annoying and just easily takes care of like any field. And then 2 Double Summon. Double Summon's cool, so you can open like, I think I only lost a game once because I had Double Summon, but to be fair, it didn't actually matter what I drew, because like he had an infinity and I had 0 cards. But every other time I drew Double Summon, I won the turn that I drew Double Summon, or the turn that I played it. So you can like Undyne send Dragoons to add Neptibus. You can like Neptibus send Dragoons to add Diva. You can just do a whole bunch of stupid shit with Double Summon, and like it's just ridiculous. Like, I wouldn't play Double Summon if you weren't playing the Undynes. But I think, like, Double Summon is good enough by itself to, like, warrant playing the Undynes, if that makes sense. We played 1 for 1. Don't really need to explain that. And then I played Abyssal of the Kraken. So I did have a lot of time struggling with which Abyss scale I wanted to play. Kraken has the best effect, but the weakest attack boost. And I did lose a match at Locals because it only gave 400, and I wasn't playing either one of the other 2. But at the end of the day, I just came to the decision that, like, just playing the one with the better effect is probably the most consistent thing to do. And I drew that a lot. I was more pissed when I drew that card than when I drew the controller, to be honest. So we have our Shark token. But the extra deck, we played 2 Dweller. I bumped this up to 2 because a lot of times when I was going first and I needed, like, another Dragoon search and I had Instant Fusion, I would just, like, make a Bahamut Shark. But sometimes that, like, you don't have the space for the Trite on board. So, like, I just wanted, like, a water monster to make that didn't require my opponent to have anything. So I just played a second Dweller. 1 Castel, went into that a couple times. 1/101, never went into it. I played Snowdust Giant. I only played against 1 Cosmo, and I just got, like, fucked by him anyway, which I'll talk about after we get through the deck. But Snowdust Giant is kind of like a counter to Cosmo, so it takes 2 level 4 waters, and then you can detach your material to reveal as many water monsters in your hand, and then place ice counters on the field equal to the number of water monsters you revealed, and then all non-water monsters lose 200 attack for every ice counter on the field. So it just makes it, and it's like a permanent thing, so you just put all the ice counters on the Snowdust Giant itself, so like any monster your opponent summons loses like a bajillion attack points. 1 Bahamut Shark, 1 Trite, 1 Gaios. For the synchros, Tatsunoko, Blackwing, Nothing the Starlight. I dropped DeLorean for this, and I really glad I did. This card's fucking insane. Like, you like can like decrease ships by 800 attack because it doesn't target, and like your opponent takes 800 damage, so like it's a good first turn play. Like, it's just fucking crazy. Gungnir, like, this card's really crazy. Like, a lot of times I would like Ghost Ogre my opponent on their first turn, and then Instant Fusion to bring back the Ghost Ogre to make Gungnir, because it only takes a water non-tuner. The tuner can be any type, so, or any attribute, so whatever. Black Rose, I never made it. Trish made it a whole bunch of times. Like, Moon Glacier, if you hit someone with Moon Glacier and then you Trish them, like, they usually can't win after that. and then 2 Norden. So Norden's pretty cool. The side deck, like, you don't really need to do a lot of siding with this deck, but we were playing 3 MST. I guess I'll do that. 3 MST, 2 Forbidden Chalice. So when you're going second, games 2 and 3 against Pepe, they like start their turn with Dweller instead of Infinity if they're like smart. So, and like a lot of the players were like activating Dweller in the standby phase to not get blown up by a Kaiju. So I wanted to play Chalice so that if they made Dweller for his turn, I could just like fuck them up. The third Twin Twisters, this was probably what I sided the most. Rogeki for Cosmo. 3 Decree, so this was awful. As well, so 3 Decree, 2 Iron Wall, and 2 Gozen Match. So these were all terrible because for some reason people kept in their Twin Twisters against me, even though I don't play any back row and not even Sphere. Like maybe they thought I was playing Sphere. Like I guess there's like other builds of Atlanteans, and especially like the more Mermail centric builds that play like more back row. But anyway, people would keep in their Twin Twisters, and like seeing I wouldn't have any back row besides these floodgates. The second I flipped these floodgates, they would just like have a Twin Twister they've been like waiting on for like several turns, and just like activate it right away and just blow them up. So I don't know what I would play in replace of these. I want to play like Trap Suns instead of the Decrees, and like I don't know about these ones. Like Iron Wall might just be like the only one that like I can't replace, but I might just play 3 Iron Wall. But anyway, and then I sided a 3rd Aqua Spirit just for against like the faster decks. You want a 3rd Aqua Spirit just to like OTK because it really does help with that. Anyway, the matches that I lost were I lost to Artifact Cosmo in the second to last round. That's like if there was like a deck that was like the most perfect counter to Mermails or Atlantean Mermails, like Artifact Cosmo is definitely it, because like you can just Morale Talk when they summon Neptibus and then they lose, because like already it's hard like playing around the Dark Destroyer, but usually you have like one more follow-up play, but like when they Dark Destroyer and then they like Morale Talk you just lose and they OTK you. So I got 2-0'd. I think that was the only match I got like 2-0'd. That fucking sucked. And then I lost to BA. Game 1 I opened Undyne and 4 Atlanteans, and then like the Equip spell, and then he Horn of Heaven the Undyne, and then he OTK'd me the next turn, so that kind of sucked. And then I beat him game 2 pretty easily. I like double Twin Twistered for his 4 back row, made a Dweller, and then Moulin Glaciated 2 cards out of his hand, so he was down to 0 cards on his second turn. That was pretty cool. And then the third game, it was like a similar opening to the first game, except I had a controller instead of the Undyne. So I just like summoned a controller and attacked into 3 back row. He like didn't do anything. I like set a Decree. He like Twin Twisted discarding Scarm, search Tour Guide, and then he had like Tour Guide in hand, and he had like a Traveler set. So I lost that pretty fast. And then the third match I lost was because my opponent was playing 3 Ignister in his extra deck, and I didn't play around it. So like I'm not even gonna like worry about that one, because like no one plays 3 Ignister, and my play was like perfect if he was playing like not 3 Ignister, because like he had 1 Ignister in grave, and like I had a Ghost Ogre in hand for the second one, and then he just like summoned a third one, and I was really salty. But I think I'm calmer now. But I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty fucking salty when it happened, because I was like, who the fuck plays 3 Ignister? But overall, it was a lot of fun. This deck is really cool. And I think it gets better when Monarchs come out, because this deck doesn't really care about summoning from the extra deck, and you can just heavy infantry all their shit. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this more in-depth deck profile. And make sure to check Facebook to see those shark costume pictures, because I thought they were pretty funny. But I will see you guys later. Goodbye.